Underwriting support for this program is provided by the Eureka Teachers Association's School Board Liaison, Philip Middlemiss. Thank you.
Oh, I don't like that.
Okay, I'm reconvening the open session, and we have a report out from the closed session. All right, I got it. We're reporting out from the closed session. Wendy?
On item C1, I have the following. Resolution 11-12-024. During the previous closed session, the board acted to authorize the district interim superintendent or designee to notify 32 temporary certificated employees pursuant to Education Code Section 44954 that they will be released at the end of the current school year. Resolution 11-12-029 and Resolution 11-12-026. During the previous closed session, the board acted to authorize the district interim superintendent or designee to notify 4 probationary certificated employees pursuant to Education Code Section 44929-21 that they will not be reelected for the 2012-2013 school year. Resolution 11-12-030 and Resolution 11-12-027. During the previous closed session, the board acted to authorize the district interim superintendent or designee to notify 2 administrators pursuant to Education Code Section 44951 that each will be released from his or her position for the 2012-2013 school year. Resolution 11-12-031. During the previous closed session, the board acted to authorize the district interim superintendent or designee to notify 1 administrator that his or her duties will be modified commencing with the 2012-2013 school year. Resolution 11-12-032. During the previous closed session, the board acted to authorize the district interim superintendent or designee to notify 1 administrator pursuant to Education Code Section 44951 that he or she will be released from his or her position and reassigned to another administrative position for the 2012-2013 school year. On item C2, there's no action to report, and item C3 was not discussed.
Okay, so we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Wendy Davis will lead us. Got there for a different one.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have student representatives' reports. Senior project. Student leadership. Okay.
Hello, my name is Erin Knight. I'm senior class president.
And I'm Catherine McGibbon, the ASB president.
Yesterday, student government held their annual Step Up Day, which is an orientation for 8th graders from Zane, where we lead them around the school, and teachers and students from student government selected leaders who they thought would be a positive influence on kids, and we led them around and gave them like a tour so they would feel more comfortable when they came to school as a freshman. This year, for the first time, we had an assembly at the end of the tour. We had a panel of students that represented different clubs, like there was art club and theater and a lot of clubs like that. And after they said what they thought was good about Eureka High School, we had the students ask them questions so they could feel more comfortable with students around the school.
Also, recently we've been working on our marketing plan, which is what I passed out to you guys. And our treasurers, it started because a company out of California was using our, selling ads in our name. And it's a way for us to streamline our own fundraising. And we wanted it to make it easier for companies or individuals around our community to donate to us. So the back 2 pages are a formalized way to say what the company gets out of it, and I think it's just saying what they can donate to us too. And then also senior class night, I handed you guys a flyer too about that, but I forgot to put that it costs $7 and it's next Wednesday, so we hope to see you guys all there. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sierra Kopp.
Hi, my name is Sierra Kopp, and I'm here to present my senior project. It's going to be a senior arts and music showcase at the Morris Graves Museum of Art. I have gone down to the Morris Graves several times and organized a recital for however many senior music students I can fit into a 2-hour time slot to showcase how they've grown throughout their years at Eureka High and through their entire lives in music. And I have also scheduled to have the youth gallery downstairs at the Morris Graves to display seniors' artwork. And I think this is going to be a great opportunity to just showcase everything that senior art and music students have done throughout their career. I want to invite all of their private teachers and their school teachers. I'm currently working on finding funding for this because it costs $120 for me to rent the space. And I plan to hold a reception afterwards, present flowers to the teachers. And I just think it's going to be a really great event. The concert's going to be held on May 6th, and the art will be on display for all of the month of May in the Youth Gallery. Do you have any questions?
So, question back here.
But important not to put Sierra on the spot, but if the board doesn't know, Sierra was one of the 5 Rising Stars that we honored this past week at the Rising Star program that the county office puts on, and she's also the co-valedictorian for the class of 2012.
Unfortunately, since the Morris Grave is so small, seating will be very limited, and I will open it up to public to buy tickets if there is room after immediate family, close friends, and teachers. Yes, so thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
I'd like to report on 2 things that are also occurring. Drive to Stay Alive, that is sponsored by Eureka High School, will be doing their driving simulation at the Samoa Drag Strip next Thursday, the 15th. Some of us sitting here at the table have been asked if we would like to be drivers, and a few of us have even volunteered. At the driving simulation, of course, they will have students and adults drive the Humboldt driving school car with an instructor. First they drive with no distractions or impairments. Then we will drive with the fatal vision goggles. I think Paul and I are both going to end up doing that. And then we get to drive while texting and with some other distractions. There'll also be a few Eureka High School students as well as some Fortuna High School students. So I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to it or scared to death. But anyway, we'll be at the Samoa Drag Strip next week. I'd also like to welcome everybody, including the board, to view the Zoe Barnum High School art exhibit, now on display in the main hall of the Humboldt County Office of Education on Myrtle Avenue. The exhibit illustrates the development of fine art skills from the start in fall 2011 to the beginning of 2012. Individual interpretation and creativity contribute greatly to the success of each project. Again, another fine example of the excellent work we get from our kids. And that's all I have to report.
Board members' reports. Susan?
I attended the first training session for the new Common Core standards that are coming out, and I think they look kind of pretty exciting. I think there's going to be some good changes, and there was a lot of good dialogue at the meeting, and I enjoyed that. And I think that's about it.
Fran?
I have nothing tonight.
No report.
Wendy?
I have nothing to report.
Okay, so we're moving on to public comment on non-agenda items. This is the time designated on the agenda when members of the public may bring before the board matters that are not listed on the agenda. Legally, no action or significant discussion can take place about a matter not listed on the agenda. Therefore, the board members and district staff members usually will not respond to public comments. And we're limiting each speaker to 3 minutes so that we can have an opportunity to hear all 6 of the green slips that have been turned in. And I believe our lighting system now works. So when the yellow light goes on, that means you have 30 seconds. And when the red light goes on, your time is up. I've been given 6 slips. The first speaker is April Pinot.
Hello, my name is April Parrott, and I'm speaking on behalf of the high school child care. In 1997,
Pull the microphone over.
I was a freshman here at Eureka High School, and at the end of my freshman year, I was pregnant. Entering my sophomore year, I entered into the Young Mothers program here that helped me. Without Jill Kimura and the child development program that Eureka High has, I would not have graduated. I graduated with 2 children on time, and I really believe it was for the program. They helped me through a lot. There was times I wanted to quit, but they were there, and I did it, and that's really all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Philip Middlemiss.
I think we're trying to group with the ETA speakers.
This is the order that I was told you wanted to speak in, so.
Yeah,
You want me to hold that? My name is Philip Middlemiss. I'm co-chair of the English department at Eureka High School, and I'm also Eureka Teacher Association's board liaison. You've seen me before. I believe a balance is needed. To begin with, I'd like to say happy birthday to my wife and express my regrets that I'm not there today. I'm here. And though we've celebrated this occasion for the last 31 years as partners, this is unavoidable. I'm sorry. Laura. Speaking of my wife, Laura, and the fact that not only have we shared the pain and joy of delivering and raising 3 wonderful children into this world, but also the fact that we have shared a common concern for the state of public education in our community. Both of Laura's parents were educators at Humboldt State University and CR, and were dedicated volunteers in the Humboldt community. Because of their influence and the fact that our 3 children were students at Arcata schools, Laura served as an Arcata elementary school trustee for 13 years. I understand the demands of school board members. I understand the pressures and discomfort of nights like tonight. I understand and I remember the times that Laura broke down following an evening of sustained confrontation from outraged teachers and reactionary parents. One such time forced me to cease business with my chiropractor because he verbally abused my wife at the lectern, as I've yet to abuse. Well, it's a state of opinion, I suppose. But my back has given me problems ever since, and it was unfortunate. For this grief and reward, Laura never received, other than sporadic gratitude, anything more than a sandwich before each school board meeting. I was also witness to the unique relationship that developed between board members and the district administration. Board members became dependent on being fed information by the administration. They spent more face time with the administration as well as being in constant communication. At Eureka City Schools, it seems the only time the board sees teachers is either during dramatic moments such as tonight, which rarely leaves a favorable impression, or when they actually visit school sites for events, which is spotty at best because they have day jobs, some of them. Oftentimes, teachers can be seen here during board meetings when teachers propose new material and programs or simply perform their dog and pony show, which to help save their threatened programs. As this lack of contact with teachers is a problem, I've had quite a few conversations with my wife about the problem of district familiarity breeding a positive acceptance of the administrator's word. The fact that my wife never agreed with my premise of favoritism, I believe, proved my point. Teachers are best seen in the light of their classrooms. Only then can they truly be evaluated for their value to this institution. I have been teaching at Eureka City School full-time for 27 years, and of those 34,200 hours with the students, I have been visited for 1 hour by one single school board member, who was Wendy Davis, who was not there so much to observe, but to dialogue with me about why I was angry at the administration. Wendy, I'm not angry. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated by the lack of respect and the shameless spending that is happening in this district office and not in the direct instruction of the classroom. What I think we need at Eureka City Schools is a paradigm shift in the ways in which the board gathers its information. In a perfect world, I'd like to see a board member follow a student for 1 day from class to class in the secondary, for hour to hour in various classes of the elementary. This way, board members can truly decide on teacher value to the district by seeing us with the students, of which I'm continually reminded that is why we're here.
Phil.
And not solely depend on the number crunching and the friendly banter of this district office. My wife took time off to visit the schools, and every month she was powered by a single sandwich. Thank you.
Beth Baker.
Hello. The last bargaining session, I was the organizing person for the union, and I've passed that job on now. Right before we settled last time, one of our teachers, Ron Quacha, had written a very short statement in support of the bargaining team. In a day and a half.
It needs to be loud.
Is it?
Oh,
do you
there you
need me
go.
to get right? Okay, there we go. I'll start again. Ron Quacha wrote a statement for teachers to sign in support of the bargaining team. So here I have my little binder all organized of all the millions of things that we did last time. So we're well rehearsed in this whole routine. We know what to do. So Ron wrote this really nice petition, or just statement of support, and I'm going to read it to you. We, the members of the Eureka Teachers Association, are firmly united behind the work of our bargaining team to secure a fair and equitable contract. Sadly, however, we believe that Eureka City Schools has not bargained in good faith for a new contract. We believe that the demands made upon us have been unreasonable and unfair. Efforts by the ETA to negotiate solutions to our differences have been ignored. It is with quiet pride that we teachers strive daily to educate Eureka's next generation. We know it is our professionalism, dedication, and caring attitude that form the foundation upon which the vibrancy, effectiveness, and success of Eureka's public school system rests. Show us that you respect our efforts to provide the best education we can to the students of Eureka. Honor the integrity of the bargaining table and direct your team to negotiate a fair and equitable contract with ETA. This was signed by 165 teachers in a day and a half. So I have 165 signatures right here of all the teachers who backed that statement the last time we came here and negotiated. Which means that we have a lot of baggage with us. So anytime we can find ways to smooth the bargaining process and make sure that everyone feels like it's equitable and fair, I think there's a huge advantage to all of us in that. So last time the fight was long and protracted. It wasn't very pretty. We're all good at that. We have 165 people who know exactly how to do exactly what we did last time. We're geared up and ready to go. We're trained. It would be really wonderful if we didn't have to use those skills. We just want to teach. This is such a huge distraction. It kills morale. Okay? Makes everyone go to work a little bit sour every day. It doesn't give us the emotional resources to deal with those most difficult students as well as we want to when we're dealing with these other side issues that distract us from doing our very best work. So, 165 teachers supporting the bargaining team in a day and a half. The only reason we didn't get the other signatures is because we settled the very next day, which is why I still have all these signatures. So if you want to see them, count them, tally them, whatever, I've got them. They're here. I'll be giving my job over to Paul Bersu as of tonight, so this binder is now his. I just really, really, really look forward to us getting on a friendly footing where we can sort of get as much mutual respect as we can possibly get rolling here in this process, is I really want to see that happen. I don't even necessarily agree that we need the tone that this letter has at this point in this year's process. I think it's probably a little harsh, but that's certainly where the tone was after 8 months of really aggressive action last time. So just the sooner we can put this to bed and get back to teaching. My garage is full of picket signs. I would love to not need them. I mean, let's get this done and get back to teaching. None of us signed up for this, so let's get it done so we can get back to the stuff that we're excited about. That's really what I want from this process.
Okay. Cuteria.
Seems like the mic needs to be pointed at the person rather than sideways.
Okay. Dear Board, I'm Gateria Pereira. I'm a math teacher at Zane. ETA's benefit increase amounts to about 0.2% of the total budget. For the average teacher, the benefit increase is around 1.5% of take-home pay. Without this added burden, we already are stretching our budgets. Inflation for 2011 is about 0.8%, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Since 2000, the teacher's salary schedule increased 8%, while the inflation increased 31%. It is true, we added steps, resulting in fewer teachers experiencing stagnated pay. It is true that benefits have continued to increase, with ECS paying for those increases. However, ETA members have lessened those increases by paying more in co-insurance and co-pays. Our benefits have not remained status quo. We have paid more out of pocket before all of this. I realize that times are such that people expect that we will earn less and work more. But whether or not this is true or just propaganda, I know that ECS has never once offered ETA a raise since I joined the bargaining team 12 years ago. When administration increased their work year to 220 days, increasing their own salaries as high as 32%, we were told that declining enrollment required teachers to sacrifice. We have had to fight every single time for our benefits and our salary. Last contract, ECS asked for a 12% cut in pay and a 16% increase in work. They stated that this was required to balance the budget. Then they found around $4 million in the budget, and the structural deficit, a word that I never heard before, but has been popping up in news lately, ended at $100,000. Now ECS says that they have a $1.7 million structural deficit requiring cuts in the budget. They claim that the county has given them a negative declaration. Sounds scary, But every year since I've been bargaining for ETA, ECS has had a negative declaration. This stems from a 3-year budget projection. I am sure all of our home budgets would warrant the same declaration. I realize the state budget news isn't good. But again, so much of this is politics. They too have to project their budget. And those projections always assume worst case scenario. People need to stand up and say that we will not balance the structural deficit. Money hasn't disappeared. The money has been reallocated. This is true in the world, it's true in the nation, it's true in the state. It is our responsibility as citizens and teachers to demand that the money be redistributed once again to build a happier and healthier world. Education is the cornerstone of that redistribution. Education is the road to middle class. We must maintain teachers' pays as professionals in order to maintain the nation's educational value. Let's start here by paying our health care increase. We are ETA.
Paul Brousseau.
It's Pursue, John. I thought you'd known me by now. We're here tonight to show our displeasure at the district's decision to charge us the increase in our medical benefits. I've bargained for ETA for the last 17 years. The one constant has always been that our members desire to keep fully paid benefits. Over this time, ETA has come up with a number of different ideas in order to keep our members covered. During that time, we have left the local JPA and joined CISC, a larger organization which created better and more affordable options for members. We have accepted higher deductibles and copay, changed our plan options, and constantly worked to offer more affordable coverage. We have accepted and agreed to the concept that salary plus benefits equal total compensation, and over time have received less movement along the salary schedule in order to keep our benefits fully covered. During the first session this year, we looked at ways to save money within the scope of the contract so that we could use the money to keep our members covered. Our efforts over time have produced the best and most affordable coverage on the North Coast. Our plan costs less than any other districts in the area, as well as any other bargaining unit within the Eureka City Schools. We are the only CTA unit in the area that has been able to keep all its retirees covered until they are 65. Why our insurance is so good and well thought out that both the administrators and the board have chosen to be covered under the same plan. In my experience, I found that Superintendents Jim Scott and Greg Hulk were committed to working with ETA to keep the unit covered. This is what is so disturbing about the district's decision. Since the benefits are part of total compensation, you've cut our pay. We've been devalued, told we're worth less. A message sent by cutting the single most important working condition to the teachers of the Eureka City Schools. Our district has always worked from the outlook of the worst case scenario. We are not arguing that the state isn't in a time of uncertain finances. We are saying that this is no time to make this decision. We know that funds have been deferred and delayed to districts, but they're coming. We also know if the tax initiative is placed on the ballot next November, those doomsday predictions will not come true. It is nothing short of reactionary to make such a cut, a statement, at this time. We should instead ask the district to examine their priority spending. You spent over $20,000 for a new superintendent search. You're paying Margaret Marchand $185 an hour above your consortium fee for legal services with no budgeted ceiling to her cost to bargain against us. You pay over $40,000 for the benefits of four board members. Susan chose not to get them. For your terms as public servants. This money alone would cover the cost of the increase in benefits until the rate change next October. During your last contract negotiations, the district wanted to cap our benefits, reduce our salary, raise our class size, and cut our pay. We need to stand up and convince you to look past your doomsday predictions and your narrow vision of balancing the budgets on the backs of your workers. Thank you.
And the last speaker is Patrick Riggs.
Hi. I'm going to do something a little different than what I usually have done when I speak to you. I'm going to ask you to actually look at some numbers. I gave every one of you on your desk there a packet like this. These are all numbers pulled from the district's own financial documents. You can find them there in the budget and the previous budgets. I want to talk to you about priorities. Priorities are the people who do the work in this district. Human beings. Last Tuesday, Ethan and I sat here and heard the most incredible financial projections and doom and gloom that I've ever heard in the 13 years I've listened to this process. And I've heard some pretty bad stuff. Nothing like this. And I heard people cut, their jobs cut, their families cut right and left, as if they were nothing. And tonight, when we come into this room to ask you to take a look at your priorities, the first thing that happens is that we find that 36 more teachers are being looked at as expendable numbers. I'm deeply disappointed. But I want to ask you to take a look at some numbers just for the concept. Maybe there's a different way to look at what's going on here. If you look at this first page, down here at line 54, where I've made an asterisk, you'll see that the beginning balance for the district in the year 2006 and 7 was about $2,700,000. And if you look across that line through the years, you will see on the second page, same line, that in the 2011-12 budget, that beginning balance had grown consistently to $9,600,000. On the far right, you'll see that's a 257% increase. If you look on the next page, you will see at line 15 on the left, the special reserve, which is in addition to the beginning balance, of $1,473,000. If you look at line 22, you'll see another $1,905,000. That's a lot of money to turn into the end of the world deficit. And I would want to know where that money has gone. One last thing. If you will look at the top of the third page, you will see in the next to last column to the right, from the right, that between July, when the budget was adopted, and September, 3 months later, when the first interim was issued, somehow expenses had gone up $1.8 million. A 22% miscalculation in 3 months alone. I don't think that makes sense. I would ask you to look as carefully as you can at the numbers that the district is presenting and to question them closely to see if really the money situation is as presented to you. Because it's human beings who are being hurt here. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to the consent calendar.
Thank And there are a lot more of us who couldn't get in to this little room.
You're all leaving. You're all leaving.
So are there any items you want to pull from the calendar? Consent calendar.
Parents program people would like it if we would listen to them, and I think that if you can, please stay and do that. Okay, I will.
If there are none, do I hear a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Let's listen to them. I think this is a compelling.
Second.
Any further discussion? There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Consent calendar passes.
We're going to take a couple minutes till the hallway clears out because the noise out there, you can't hear anything.
Can't hear anything. Not a thing. Here.
Okay. Moving to item K13, Resolution 11-12-025, reduction or discontinuance of a certain particular kinds of certificated services for 2012-2013 school year.
And again, based on the direction the board has given staff, as well as making sure that we have the flexibility that we need in terms of moving forward with next year. We are bringing forth a resolution to make recommendations with a reduction or discontinuation of particular kinds of certificated services for the 2012-2013 school year.
I think there's some typos or some mistakes on this, on the elementary certificated, number 13.
Okay, we're looking at this.
Right, but on number 13, it says that we all voted yes for decreasing class sizes, and that is not the way we voted. We voted, 3 of us voted no, and 2 yes, and that's why I have concerns about this, because I'm concerned that how we're going to accomplish not increasing class sizes by eliminating all of these FTEs. But when I look at this, I don't think the votes are correct on here, because quite a few of them are.
From
well,
the
and
meeting
again,
on the 28th is what you're looking at?
I see.
Moving.
I see on number 13. Obviously, that's wrong. It says 5 yes and. Oh, wait a minute. 5 yes, 2 FTE.
Okay, what I'd like to suggest, though, is that in order for us to have the flexibility to do all of the fiscal stability plan, and in keeping in mind of things like seniority and credentialing, that sometimes we have to be able to do an initial reduction of services beyond what is initially hoped for in the end result because of the March 15th notification that we're required by law to do. So it isn't going to equally match.
So
That's misleading.
But I want that to be changed,
I do
though,
too.
because that's misleading to say that we voted yes on that, because that was not the way the vote went. But the thing that, so then at the end of the day, when when it's time for the next school year to start, and we have the number of students that we're going to have enrolled, and we decide how many classes we need, what the point that we were trying to make on this was that we don't want the class sizes to be increased, and we want to try to eliminate the combo classes.
That was understood, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and the way I read number 13 is that you voted, the 5 yes was just that overall, given enrollment and depending on how those students come in, because they're not yet here, we would hope to only have to reduce by that amount. But right now, for example, we're 100 less kindergarten students than we were the year before, so we have to have some flexibility. And as our enrollment figures become more solidified, particularly what the board did direct us to do is to look at some of that master schedule refinement in the secondary area there may be some movement of certificated staff as a result of both of those things.
And Susan, I want to point out, it says vote 5 yes for the 2 FTE, which was right in the middle of the 1 to 3. So it was a 5-0 vote for the 2 FTEs.
Yeah, and then the next one says,
And you're looking at number 13, right?
yes,
And that's the one you question whether the vote was correct.
right.
It was 5 yes.
It was
for
5
2 FTE.
yes for just 2. The option was 1 to 3 on the right-hand side.
And that was because of the possibility of declining, the probability of declining enrollment.
Well, and also some of the effects of, if you look also at 14, they have to be kind of seen together because the board would like to see master schedule refinement. And so, again, sometimes our initial notification is larger than what our final notification is once we've done some of that refinement and really truly see what the needs next year will be in terms of staffing. But to have that flexibility, we have to act now, even though we may not have all that information.
Right. The way that I remember is that we voted, 3 of us voted no, that we didn't want increased class sizes, and we wanted to try to decrease the number of combo classes. And the what you came back when we did was, what I remember was that if you wanted to make sure, clarify that we weren't saying that you couldn't give any notices.
Correct.
Because if we were saying that, then you would not have the flexibility. But we're not, I don't think that, I guess what I just want it clarified, and I want it clear that we want the class sizes to stay.
I think that's pretty clear. So as we have a better idea of what the number of students are going to be next year, it could mean a different projection in terms of the amount of staff we need, but at least based on doing that master schedule refinement, particularly when we have to look K-12, we need to have that flexibility right now. And as we've done historically, as we have a better sense of what that's going to look like, and the board's had an opportunity to look at those things, then sometimes what we've done initially changes.
So it's clear in our minds what the 5 yes votes were for.
Correct.
It might be good to clarify that in the action box there on item 13.
Okay, and we could do that in the next agenda item, because that really is where we were going to have another opportunity for the board to look at everything that they had done and make sure that staff understood what was approved. That's why we brought it back again for tonight, for the board to consider.
Okay.
But in particular for this resolution, in terms of reduction of particular kinds of services, the staff has always asked the board to give us some flexibility within the parameters that they understand the board has set. And that it does include maintaining the class sizes comparable to what we've had, which is 24 with the lower grades and 27, 28 with the higher grades. That's what our understanding is from the board.
Okay.
But I really want that to say 3 to 2, and then if you want to clarify that further with the 2 FT as we discussed, that's different. But this does, if you look at this document, it says that we all voted yes.
But we did.
No.
On item 13.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Okay, and that to me is the next agenda item for you to clarify it. To clarify, that's why we brought it back, to make sure that you could look at every item and make sure that there is clear understanding for staff on what the directions from the board were for last week. But from the bigger picture, in terms of doing reductions of particular kinds of services, until we have a better idea of what some of these things are going to look like, we need that flexibility now with our initial notifications.
And then see that, like on number 4, it says program stays, which is good, but the 5 yeses, the 5 votes were not yes, they were no. We did not eliminate the program.
Right, and again, I'm trying to clarify that the action item that we are talking about right now is K-13, and you're looking at K-14.
Okay, sorry.
And so I'm trying to get us back on track for K-13.
Okay.
And we'll have further discussion when we get to K-14.
Any other comments on K-13?
Move for approval of K-13.
I'll second it.
There's been a motion to approve and a second. Is there any other further comments on item K-13?
Do you need that read? Do you need the motion to?
I still don't know.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Okay,
Item K-14.
So K-14 would be the opportunity for the board to look at what we've provided. I think there also is some public comment under this particular agenda item, so I don't know if the board would like to hear the public comment first before we go through each item in particular, or if they would like to, that's up to the...
I would.
I'd like to hear it.
Okay.
I have 7 green sheets, so we're going to ask each speaker to keep their comments to 3 minutes. The first one is Susan Seeger and Rachel.
Hi, I'm Susan Seeger. I'm one of the school nurses. Can you guys hear me?
No, you need to
swallow it. I'm Susan Seeger. I'm one of the school nurses. I've been with the district 25 plus years. Really, I didn't want to take up time speaking. We just wanted to give you some information. It just seems that whenever budget cuts come up, nursing comes up. And I don't see you guys a lot, except for my boss over there. I can talk to you. So I don't know if you really know what services we're providing now and what kind of health issues you have out in your schools. Did you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm. You need to get closer to the microphone.
You could take it out and hold it if that would be more...
Well, that's really all I had to say. So I guess I would like to know how to get this information to you. And then if you had questions, to please get back to us.
That'd be great.
Do you want me to just take it?
Can you hand it out?
Is it one packet or is it packets for everybody?
One is one packet is all the health alerts in the in the district. We printed them out so that you can see the types of health issues in your schools. The other one is kind of just a broad, generalized what kind of duties we perform in the schools. And you can each have one of those.
Sure.
Yeah. Whoops. That came off of this. Oh, wait a minute. Here's one more.
How's that?
That's all bad.
Thank you for your help.
Mic check.
Very good.
Our next speaker is Pam Cahill.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, Mickey.
You're welcome,
I'm Pam Cahill, and I'm a home ec, or I was a home ec teacher. Most of my 36 years were spent in Eureka High School, but I am retired. I'm here today to talk about the Teen Parent Program. I just happened to be surfing through the TV and last Friday, I think, and there was pictures of you people eliminating the Teen Parent Program. I was shocked. I know it's a hard time being a board member, But I want to tell you the history of this teen parent program, which some people call CalSafe now. It's had many different kinds of names. Am I supposed to? It's red. Does that mean I'm not? Oh, good, thank you. So anyway, I want to show you why dropping the teen parent program or the CalSafe program is not a good idea. But I first want to talk to you about where it came from. Back in 1989, a long time ago, the district asked me to do a study on the number of teen parents that were dropping out of school. And so we did, and we found that there were 49 babies being born every year to mothers 18 years and younger, and these mothers were not in school. They had about 20 teen parents in various continuation schools, but as soon as a girl got pregnant, she was sent to the continuation school. Once she had her baby, there was no one to take care of it, so they usually dropped out of school. Every year, it seemed that we were having about 35 to 40 to 50 girls that were dropping out of school. Many of the boys were still in school playing football. So we decided that with the district office's support, we would try a program working with the county health department. We found that teen parents needed daycare, they needed support, and they needed transportation. That's what was keeping them from coming to school. Their parents, usually single parents, not always, but many times, they were working. They couldn't care for the baby. So the girl just had to drop out. Study after study has shown that when mothers drop out of school, their children, who are your next kids in kindergarten, do not do well. And they usually get pregnant and drop out of school. So anyway, we started this program, and with the community support, 1990, and it was to keep parents in school, the fathers and the mothers, producing more ADA for the district. We figured that you were losing $210,000 a year from not having these students in the classroom. Promoting parenting skills and improving self-esteem so that they would be good parents for those students who will be your kindergarten kids. Improving the chances of the next generation of school children to be successful in school. Reduce the incidence of infant mortality by teaching good nutrition. Child abuse by teaching good parenting practices. Reduce the number of repeated pregnancies in teen parents. The program has been doing that, has been successful for 21 years. Yes, now, because in 97, we wrote a grant, you now not only get the ADA from the students we're keeping in, but you get $50,000 for the babies to run that program. Maybe it doesn't pay completely for the whole program. Maybe it's $20,000 that you have to come up with the ADA from these students. But you are saving parents, letting them graduate from high school, letting them have careers, letting them have their babies, and not suffering because they decided to have their children in their teenage years instead of their 30s. You've got to think of the babies, you've got to think of the parents, and realize that this is actually, even though it's flexible, it will go back to that, but it was meant in this district to be used for the teen parent program, not to be shuffled off to be used in the general fund. So please reconsider it. We really have a great program, and once it's gone, and it will go back to having many kids down at the mall with their babies and no one to keep care of them. There is not daycare for infants in Humboldt County. So I hope you will reconsider, and thank you very much.
Jill Camaro.
I really would have appreciated going before Pam. That was very emotional and heartfelt. She's my mentor. Yes. Lori has some supporting documentation handout to you. It's not everything, but it's a little smattering of what we do. Hello. I'm going to read this off of this because I'm not a great public speaker, believe it or not. I'm great in a room of 2-year-olds. Hello, my name is Jill Kimura, and I'm here representing Eureka City Schools, CalSafe Program, and Infant Toddler Center. Tonight I'm speaking not only for our program itself, but for those students past and present and their families that have received services from us over the last almost 22 years and who have at times felt voiceless. Pam has already spoken about our background, how we came to be as a program, and why our services were needed. I would like to share with you facts relating to teen pregnancy and why our school district should continue to run a quality teen parent program and infant toddler center. Our program serves pregnant and parenting teens, male and female, and their families who are enrolled in our district schools. Our services include, but are definitely not limited to, academic support and mentoring, attendance case management and counseling, career counseling and job training, health, nutrition, and perinatal education, meal supplements for pregnant and lactating mothers, parenting and life skills education, prevention services, free doula support, free child care for those children 0 to 3, and then they transition into preschool, usually our district's Winsler Children's Center, with Winsler then assisting our families to transition those children into kindergartners in one of our local elementary sites in our district, hopefully. In fall of 2009, we realized that with the change in funding, Tier 3 flexible funding, whatever you want to call it, less money, we would need to cut costs, and we did just that. We combined our program sites from 2 sites to 1. We cut our staff from 5 to 2. We diligently continued to work with outside agencies to promote our program, including our child care center, accepting more community children in order to offset costs. We continue to apply for ongoing grants from First 5 and Health Happenings as not to cause a break in services, such as our annual Teen Parent Conference, birthing education classes, lactation specialist services, high school to college transition, child care subsidy relief, just to name a few. I know I'm short on time, but I would like to give the board and those here tonight a few statistics to gnaw on. And I'm going to cut these short, and I will get you copies of these. 2009-10, we had a graduation rate of 100% of our seniors that were on track to graduated. In 2011, 86% of our seniors graduated with a high school diploma. In 2011-12, we're scheduled to have a graduation rate of 100%. There's some statistics about concerning those graduating students, too. In 2009-10 school year, 64% of those students continue with post-secondary education and are in the workforce. 36% are gainfully employed in our community. 2010-11, 80% continue with post-secondary education and employment, and 20% were strictly employed. 11-12, we have the projection of 88% plan to continue on with post-secondary education, with 12% planning to choose strictly employment opportunities in our area. Am I out of time, you guys? Oh, my goodness sakes. I am going to freak out if I don't say a couple more things, so you'll have to get the cane. As most of you know, the trickle-down effect is going to be huge on our district, ladies and gentlemen, and on our community at large. Not only will these teen parents choose other schools, and I know this for a fact, they will choose other schools, but when their children become kindergarten age, they will have no allegiance to this district. Most of our teen students will have no other child care options and will have to go on independent study, further isolating them from their peers and positive adult role models. And the list goes on. I wish I could continue talking, but I don't want to get in trouble and have you guys kick me off. I do want to say that if the numbers are correct on your fiscal stability plan, our program cost $72,000 to run. The state, with the flexibility money, was giving $51,500. And so we are in the red, so to speak, $21,000. And I know with a lot of hard work, I can find $21,000. And I will figure it out if you will not let this money become flexible and go into the general fund. Thank you very much.
Rebecca Ball.
Hello. I wanted to speak on behalf of the CalSafe Teen Parent Program. My name is Rebecca Bott, and I am currently both a teacher at Eureka High School and a parent of an infant toddler that attended this program as a community baby. In a time of budget uncertainty, we can all appreciate the need to make various cuts throughout the educational system, yet a cut to this program would have implications reaching out beyond the scope of budget figures. I'm in a unique position to speak on behalf of this program as I have seen it from its varied perspectives. As a teacher, I have had pregnant and nursing mothers as students in my classroom and have been fortunate enough to have witnessed the direct impact this program has on the overall learning and achievement of my students. As teachers, we're all fully aware that the inequities in the classroom extend far beyond the scope of the academic day, and that having parental support at home is one of the key factors to academic success. Many of the socioeconomic subgroups serviced by this program are able to succeed where they might once have failed and thrive in a time in their life that might be fraught with uncertainty. The CalSafe Teen Parent Program offers students a place where they can learn to be successful parents as well as successful students, and it allows them to have many of the opportunities that many other students might take for granted. As a mother of an infant who was enrolled in the program, I became more than just a teacher, I became a peer. I saw firsthand how much every subtlety of this program was utilized by the students, from classes on breastfeeding and parenting to lessons on budgeting and money and writing a resume. I saw how the program changes the course of life for each and every one of its members and allows them to be afforded the possibility of socioeconomic independence through a high school education. Above all else, the CalSafe program allows young moms to become better parents, ultimately leading to a better future for their children. These children, who will become a part of Eureka City Schools as they enter kindergarten, will come to us, the teachers, better equipped to learn and better able to ultimately become lifelong learners themselves. This program is about changing lives, not just the lives of each student that comes to be a part of it, but of the teachers who will one day teach these students' children, and of the community, which will become a better place as more children gain academic and socioeconomic success. I'll say that. Thank you.
Jacqueline Alvord.
I'm a little tall right now. Good evening. I am here on behalf of the CalSafe Teen Parent Program. Did you know that 60 to 70% of pregnant teens drop out of high school? That's a huge number. When I first heard that the program was in danger of being closed, the first thing that came to my mind was what will happen with the teen parents' future. And that is why I'm here tonight. The CalSafe program did so much to help me. I figured a speech was the least I could do for them. As for the teen parents, what will they do? Will they have to drop out of school so they can get a job that won't even pay for their child care? What will become of their futures? I was lucky enough to be able to get my diploma and graduate, while at the same time know that my child was in excellent hands of the amazing workers at the CalSafe program. I honestly don't have any idea where I would be right now if it wasn't for this great program. So on behalf of all the teen parents, I believe this program plays an essential part for the future of our young ones and for America. Thank you.
Erin Clarkson.
Hello, my name is Aaron Clarkson, and I was a senior in the 09 and 2010 year. I went through the program, the Teen Parent Program, and at that time, I was going to school, going to work after, and going through a migraine about every other day, and doing homework and all the bit. The support came largely through this program, and Jill and Lori do everything above and beyond duty. In these hard times, they've really shown me and so many others, whoever's ever known them, know that they live what they talk about, and they teach that through these hard times, it's not money that matter, it's morals. And through these morals, these honesty, integrity, and hard work is what made America. And this program ministers to not only the so many students that go through it, but also the very little ones. Our futures start at home, nowhere else. Our parents are who teach us first. Our educators put their students first. It's how it should be. Our youth, as though I am young, I do know that our youth will be replacing every one of us. And what we invest in them, that reflects on our future. And they are our testimony to this work. Thank you.
Wendy Rowan.
Yes, I'm Wendy Rowan, and I serve as the Executive Director for First Five Humboldt, the Humboldt County Children and Families Commission. I and some of the commissioners I serve, specifically Claire Knox, Professor of Child Development at Humboldt State University, and Kate Green, a very active early childhood educator in our community. We are very concerned about the potential of the teen parent program closing. First Five Humboldt has been providing support to the teen parent program since we first started funding a little bit over a decade ago. And one of the reasons that we have consistently done that and wanted to be a resource and support is because it's a quality program. A few years ago, Professor Claire Knox spoke to this board about how this program is really the model for how to do teen parent support. It's the only one of its kind in this county. We have a tremendous shortage of child care in this county, particularly for infants and toddlers. And one of the things that we would like you to understand about this potential decision is the magnitude of it in regard to the context of the times. Right now, our local child care system is unraveling, and it has been under attack for a number of years. And every closing just brings us closer to destabilizing our local child care system. The information that I passed around to you, one is a flyer for a performance this Friday night at the Eureka Women's Club that will be performed by Del Arte. It's entitled Imagine a Week Without Child Care. Local early childhood educators, a few of us, a small group, have been working with them since the summer to do this. And we encourage you to come out to the performance. It's for policymakers, employers, and folks in the community. And then the report that's going around is from the California Center for Real Policy that was released just before Christmas, and it makes the case between quality child care and the economy and our local base industries, our future workforce. So this is a serious time for you to consider this decision, and I want to close by reading a statement from Kate Green, a First Five Humboldt Commissioner. Previous to joining the Commission, I was the founder and longtime director of 3 State Department of Education funded child development programs, taught early childhood education at College of the Redwoods, and served as a consultant to the Child Development Program to College of the Redwoods. While participating in the Director Mentor Program, I had the occasion to visit the Teen Parent Program in Eureka City Schools. I can testify to the major support provided to these young parents, not only in receiving child care so they can finish school, essential if they are to survive in the world of work, but also in having the opportunity to learn about guidance and parenting from an educated and talented early childhood educator. Losing the program will have devastating consequences for these parents and, of course, most importantly, their children. It will be a major loss, not just for the district, but for the community. I urge you to continue to support the Teen Parent Program. Thank you.
Okay. So, go ahead.
So again, as indicated earlier, the staff did want to come back to the board with our understanding of the decisions that were made at the last board meeting, also providing board an opportunity to have further conversation. So this would be the time, if the board so chose, to look at it either, again, line item by line item, making sure that what we have indicated is clear, and if not, what was the direction of the board to certainly help our understanding, because we did a lot of things last Wednesday, and we just want to make sure, or whenever we met, we want to make sure that we captured it accurately.
Are we going to start with number one? I would like to make some comments about the CalSafe program after hearing the information that we heard tonight.
Okay, so that would be number 2.
Number 2, so.
So if we want to just be up to the board, I mean, if number 1 looks accurate and you guys are comfortable with it, we can move to number 2, or we can go up by the programs you have questions and would like to have further comment about. It's up to you guys.
Why don't we just have each board member raise any concerns about any particular item and not necessarily go in any order?
Okay.
You want me to start?
Sure.
I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the CalSafe program. First, I want to apologize for not doing my homework and finding out more about it. I feel like all of the other things that we were looking at on here, that the people that were in charge of that program obviously had a heads up that they were going to be on this list, and they came to us with ways that they could decrease their, make it more cost effective with different things that they could do. And this one program, it sounds like, didn't know until they found out they were getting cut. And so I don't think they really got a fair shake on coming and presenting to us what they do. And like I said, I'd like to apologize because I should have looked into it as a board member, and I didn't look further. And after the information I've heard tonight, I would like to, I personally would like more information, and I would like to see. Jill made a comment that she thought that maybe there was a chance she could save some money by doing some things differently. I think they should at least have a chance to look at the program and see if there's something that can be done differently, or look at this again. And that's the way I feel about it, and I don't know if anybody else has anything to say about it.
It sounded sort of like the information was that the encroachment on the general fund, the information we got was that the encroachment on the general fund was $72,707.
That's correct.
That's what they say is correct.
So, can I clarify?
Yes, please.
We make a contribution of $21,000 to the program, but in addition, there's $51,000 that is flexible money. So basically said that money, if the program were eliminated, would stay within the general fund and does not necessarily need to be allocated to this particular program. So I would say that yes, the bottom line impact of the general fund is $72,000.
Okay, so 2 things. I missed that, And I think that some of that stuff it would be better to be clarified, that there's a difference between it costs us this and we can sweep this. And in the future, maybe earmarking something to identify the difference between it's just an encroachment on our general fund. Because if somebody's asking me questions and I say, no, that's not how I understand it, then I'm wrong. So, and I don't know if everything applies to that. The other thing is this one-time funding? If we eliminate this program and then sweep that $50,000, does it go away? Or
No.
do they just keep funding it year after year after year at $50,000?
And just like the other Tier 3 categorical programs, it's part of the overall flex process. So at least the way that things are currently configured, we would continue to receive the same amount of money irrespective of whether we run the program or not through the end of 2014-15. Similar to adult education is another program, if you will, that kind of runs under the same guidelines.
I'd like to, I guess, remind the board that the email that I read last when we were discussing that item was from Jill, and that she and I had email conversations about that it was being considered. And then if you recall, I said, okay, this is verbatim the information that I got regarding the CalSafe program when asked by the board in terms of number of students and how many had graduated and how many were Zoe kids and how many Eureka High kids.
I don't think she realized that you were that was information for the board. I don't think she
I
realized
thought
that at all.
that was informally how we're doing this year. I had no idea, and I really fell asleep at the job. And for that, I am sorry, Susan. I should have come and explained what the CalSafe program was, and I decided for my Wednesday nights to be something personal for myself after 20 years, and I fell asleep at the job, and for that, I'm sorry to this program and to all the kids at Defense. I made a mistake. I did not come and speak to our program's value and what it meant, and I'm sorry for that.
Now, in the past, I know we've had 10, 11, 12, 13 more Eureka City Schools students in the program.
Mm-hmm.
And so you were saying that currently there's only 2 to 4?
Well, what I said, and Jill would be best to give those numbers, is the numbers that she had provided me, that we had some students graduate, and in particular she, I think, mentioned 4 of the Zoe students had graduated. So there were at times maybe 8 kids that were the teen parent part, and then at times there were only 4. And so it does vary, but my understanding from the information conveyed was at the peak, I guess, if you want to call it that, there were 8.
Can we ask Jill how many kids are currently in the program and how?
You know what? This is terrible, and I should know all that, but I'm so overwhelmed right now emotionally. I don't want to give figures that are inaccurate. I would say that this year, I want to say that we served 12 to 14 students throughout the year, and their families, and their partner. So that's reflective of people that were enrolled paperwork-wise, right? They were enrolled to turn in the paperwork. And then we served several community babies.
We're going to have to ask her to come up to the microphone because we're not getting any of this. Sorry.
Okay. We served, I want to say, and please do not take this literally because I may be off a kid or two, but I want to say that we served 13, 14 teen parents this year, total. Now, we serve students from all Eureka City schools that are enrolled in Eureka City Schools. We don't no longer provide an MOU with county schools. So we do just Eureka City Schools. So of those students, several go to Zoe and they do graduate, and then new kids come in sporadically. You know, we just had 2 calls today, in fact, of people that we're hearing leads on that are pregnant. So that number, Leanne is right, is very fluctuating. Is it a low year? Yeah, it's kind of a low year. I've had 30 before. I remember the days with Pam and I, 35. But we are working with our partners who are not always enrolled in Eureka City Schools. We try to enroll them. They may be of school age and not enrolled yet, so that doesn't reflect all partners. That doesn't reflect their in utero babies. So it is kind of a weird kind of number I mean, I could get you exact numbers if that makes a difference. Our funding is not, of course, it's flexible. It's not attendance-based like it was in years past. It went into the flexible funding pattern in 2009. And at that time, we made all the reductions I spoke to. We condensed our program to one program. We chose Eureka High, not because it was a better high school, but because it was a licensed child care facility with good reports all over the county that we could offer infant toddler care. And I could also offer mentor teacher services because I'm a mentor teacher for CR in Humboldt State. So that means I mentor early childhood educators while they're going to school. So we serve a lot of different purposes, but for your purposes, I can't give you an exact, but I think it's like 13, 14 throughout the year.
So when you say throughout the year, I don't know if my mic's working, but does that mean that some of the teen mothers are there for only a few weeks, or?
No, it means that if they graduate, we don't have a high number of kids that are in and out because they get mad at us. We've been really lucky with that. Other CalSafe programs tell us they have that flux. They tick somebody off and they're here today, gone tomorrow after a mountain of paperwork. We don't have that. We retain children and we retain students in our program. So when I say it varies, it might mean we had a student last year that got married and her husband joined the military and they got stationed back east. We have kids who, who graduate from Zoe.
Or get pregnant
or,
in January.
Or get pregnant in January. Or get pregnant on the last day of school and show up. And then I do paperwork on them.
So let's take today, for example. How many kids were in the program?
Do you mean teen parents or babies? Because it's two separate programs. We have our infant toddler center that not everybody takes advantage of, and we have community kids that come in, babies that are paying customers, and then we have teen parent babies that get it for free, and then we have a teen parenting component, which is our case management part.
I'm talking about teen parents.
Teen parents
Eureka
receiving
City
services today would be 12, according to Lori, who's my expert bookkeeper. She counted up before we came. 12 students are now enrolled as of today, not counting the 2 that called today. So 12.
I think part of the question, though, Jill, is how many babies were actually in the program today.
Physically in our program today, nobody. Yeah, we had one that had an RSV shot. I don't know if anybody knows about that, and didn't come. That was supposed to start back today. We have 2 that are sick, and we have 1 that have custody issues. So we have varying things like they come and go, where before we would not tolerate so much flexibility with the child care portion of our teen parents because we were paid, the program was paid with our CalSafe grant on attendance of the babies and attendance of the teens in class, sitting in a desk. That was how we got our funding. When they switched to flexible, this flexible, whatever it is, they took 1 year of money that we made. It was our leanest year. It was our best year community. We were packed to the brim making outside money. But it was our big year at Zoe, but not for both programs. We were running 2 programs at the time, 2 childcare. We were full at Zoe, full at Eureka High with paying babies. So the state, of course, only counted the babies that were at Zoe, and they took that amount of money that they were paying us, and they, for that year, and they had a calculation, and they figured out that calculation, and I don't think the people that explained it to me even understand it, but they came up with a sum, and that's at $51,500. Then they said that money will come to your district to run your CalSafe program or not. It's flexible funding. And that's how we fixed things in the state. So this is the deal. Your district can either run it or they can close you. And I met with Leanne and I met with Mr. Lenz, and we discussed consolidation measures, and that's where we came to be one program, one site. And that's how the succession of events. And that's when I continued to write grants and continued to solicit support from the community to offset such expenses as doula services and lactation help and things that I couldn't in a day run a child care program, do the CalSafe portion, do the mentoring, and do all this other stuff. And I couldn't do a good enough job of doing it all. Lori and I just couldn't pull it together. That's a lot of stuff to do, going from 5 employees to 2 and 2 centers to 1. So we just made it work, and we went and asked for help, and people from the community were wonderful, and that's how we've stayed alive. And now this. And so I just, I really, like I said, I really feel irresponsible for not making our center, explaining our center to you board, and to making my email more formal to Leanne. And for that, I'm sorry, but it is what it is, and I'm here now, and I want to answer all your questions to the best of my ability, and I so would appreciate you go home tonight. It's like a doctor's appointment. You go home tonight and you think of 20 things you wanted to ask. I'm open to anybody asking me things via cell phone, coming into the center, or calling me at any time to clarify anything. If it's going to help this program provide infant toddler care not only for our teen parents and case management services and keep these kids in school, but to also provide infant toddler care for our community. We are one of 2 infant centers in the entire county. People do not realize that. There are home child cares, but there are 2 infant centers in the entire county, and we are one of them that are licensed.
How many children do we have in that program?
In which program?
In the one you just, the
infant center portion, I think we have 7 right now enrolled. I think we have 7 enrolled.
Is there a maximum number you can?
Yes, we're licensed for 13.
Okay, do you have any children of teachers or
yes.
that are
yes.
teaching in our district or wherever
yes.
in your programs at
yeah, and we actually have 3 teachers that have recently had babies that want in the fall. But I must say
coming in the fall?
Yes.
Okay.
I must say our prices are what most people would consider a little bit high, but that was mandated by the state way back when we were attendance-based. They cannot pay for babies, infants and toddlers, ADA for infants and toddlers for our program, and charge someone else from the community a different rate. And I get that. But now that we're on flexible funding, I'm working really hard to be able to adjust those rates, maybe not to lowest in the county, but to be doable for families that just can't. Rebecca didn't speak to this, and I don't think she'll mind me saying this, but she chose our center for her infant when she was teaching 1 section at Eureka High. And because of our pricing, we charged her $33 a day was our rate for her, because we followed the letter of the law, and that's the way our pricing was set up. It's in increments of hours. It's not per hour. So I'm working on changing that. I'm calling the state, but it's like with anything, every time I call, it's a different person with the job, and nobody knows what I'm talking about. So I'm trying to follow the letter of the law and make it more affordable. But within reason, we run a quality center, and I think people want in. They just seriously cannot afford us. I couldn't afford us when my baby was little. I couldn't have afforded us. So I don't think we're not liked and we're not respected. I think we just, are what we are. And we do need support from this board on advertising and hanging a sign up and, putting flyers in doctor's offices. Because I think there are people out there that maybe could afford our rates as they are now that would choose to pick us to care for their infants and toddlers.
Then is there also, since there's a set number of babies you can have, is there also a set number of parents that you can have?
No, there are not. Yeah, so there's been times where we've done case management services for 40 teen parents, and we just have to make it work. Okay. Yes. So please don't hesitate to call me with questions.
Any other board comments on this item?
I would appreciate if you would send the information that you were reading some of it, but you didn't get it all read, your letter and everything. I would appreciate it if you would email, or we get copies of everything that you said and didn't get to say.
I most certainly will. Thank you very much.
So, being new at this, I'm not sure what we do if, can we ask for more information and bring this back and bring it to a vote again? Or how do we, because I think it's really important that we keep this program.
I do too.
And I think that, if we, I'm a nurse in OB, and I've worked in OB for 25 years, and I didn't know about your infant and toddler center. So I think if we, even marketing, getting it out there, and maybe we could get some more kids in there and bring up some revenue. We're charging these kids to come in there for the child care. I mean, that would increase the revenue side. I would like to see us work with it.
It's my understanding that the 72,000 represents where they're at now, so it is taking into account that they're getting funding for the outside childcare as it is. So this doesn't reflect that they have room for 13. They're serving 8, so they have wiggle room to pull in 5 more students. Is that? You understand my question?
I don't know
I
if I
got
can
lost
answer
in
that
my
part,
own question
Wendy, but
there.
I'll tell you right now, we're budgeted for $7,000 worth of local revenues. So that's what we expect to bring in based on I think the child care portion.
Right. So, but is that number taking into account the 8 that are already there? And so increasing by the 5 students would only lower this $72,000 encroachment a small percentage?
Wendy, that's a little bit off.
You can't speak from the audience.
Well,
No, they're students.
We must, as part of our mission, provide free child care. As part of being a CalSafe program, we must provide child care to teen parents, children first, free of charge. But it's so flexible. There's been times where we've been full with all teen parent babies, and then we just cannot take community babies to incur revenue. But that, too, is fluctuating. And so right now, for whatever reasons, we have pregnant people and we have some parenting that aren't using our services because their babies are preemies or for whatever reasons, or daddy stays home or whatever. And then we do have spots for community babies. So that is fluctuating, but yes, I can say with pretty much a certainty that we would have at least, I would think, at least 6 lots that would be available to community babies on a full-time basis.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would like to leave this cut here for now and get some more information. We could always reverse it at some point in the future.
We're pushing to get a number to put into our interim report.
We can leave the number in the interim report and then still approach the issue later. That wouldn't stop us from looking at it later.
I'll just say the number is in the interim report. I mean, we cut everything off. The fiscal stability plan, which will, for the most part, follow the second interim report and the changes that were made, that certainly is still something that could be adjusted.
So I would like to talk to Jill after a certain date and then get some more information because I'm still a little bit confused about the numbers.
And I don't take these decisions lightly. Every cut from, they all hurt. They are all people. They're all absolutely necessary and essential programs. The 2 speakers that spoke on behalf of the program, one was my goddaughter, and my best friend's daughter is currently in your program. It's not that I don't think this program is necessary.
One thing that would help a little bit, you referred to a 100% graduation rate, but how many individuals are you talking about? And again, I don't need that number now, but it would, 100% of 2 is 2, and 100% of 25 is 25. So it wouldn't make some difference on what you're servicing as to what your numbers actually mean.
Sure. I can get those.
And I just so that it doesn't get forgotten, I would like to see it put on an agenda so that we can talk about it again and decide if we're going to take another vote on this. The future, like our next agenda, or sometime that week, Jill can have some heads up time and can come to us with any.
Yeah, not our next agenda, but
the one after.
2 or 3 meetings from now when we've had time to all talk to Jill and get more information.
Okay.
So then, my understanding is you guys are going to ask questions about particular items. What other items are there questions about?
Well, the other one that I had a question about, just to clarify, was the nursing. Because I
And
got...
which item are you on?
I am on item number 16.
Okay. And okay.
Because I had received some email information, and it said that we were cutting down to 0.5 of a nurse, and I think that's not what we... I don't think that's what this says, but I think there was some misinterpretation of how that went. And I would just like it to be clarified exactly what the change in the nursing positions are.
Well, and initially, and you're absolutely right, we were only ever asking the board to consider a 0.5 reduction, and at that point we were asking the board to consider a reduction in the temporary piece of nursing. After the board meeting, in which our understanding was the board had directed us to go ahead and look at reducing only the temporary portion of nursing. However, since then, what we found is that temporary portion of the FTE is actually attached to leave, so we can't reduce it at all. So our recommendation would be at this time not to.
Thank you.
Any other board members want to bring up concerns or questions about any of the other items?
I'll just make a comment that anytime we're considering the cut to a program that affects people, and you can look them in the eye and feel that there's no one in this room, no one in our district that doesn't do it with passion. And it's incredibly hard. Sandy did a great job with her presentation about adult ed, but we're still talking about people and trying to get a balanced budget and not doing it with smoke and mirrors. As Mr. Riggs pointed out, we're talking about people. It is a people business, and it isn't easy to sit up here and say, yes, cut this, cut that. And what we've done is to pretty much avoid the hard decisions.
Okay, so you have this item under discussion action. The action would only be if we were going to reverse one of these cuts tonight.
Well, and I would say that right now the action requested in particular would be not to reduce the temporary piece because we found out we can. So that would be nursing. The other recommendation that the staff would like to bring to the board is that the hourly portion of number 14, item number 14, the hourly piece of that actually is contractually driven. So we would also respectfully request that the board consider taking that out of the approval that they gave us. We have not included it in our second interim, so it's not going to change the numbers that we're providing to the county. Seems like there was one more, and I have to think about it.
Those are the only two.
Okay. Those are the only two.
I take it back. No, there's one other. What was it? We did have a slight adjustment on that number, but.
And number 25, we adjusted when we had more accurate information. So those are the three items that we would like the board to take, I guess, action on. And one is there will be no elimination of the nursing services that we provide, that the hourly, an understanding that we can't do it at this time, and so we didn't include that in the second interim and the adjustment to 25.
So this morning, at the meeting we were at this morning, you were saying our cuts, which we thought were 1.68 million the other day, are really down to about 1.5 million, and that is because of those three items?
Yes. Correct.
Do you want me to read that back? Read the motion that you would like?
Yes.
Would in the motion, would we also have that we want the CalSave program to come back to a future board meeting? Would that be part of the action?
I don't think we need a
No, it's
motion
just
to
a
have that.
recommendation.
Okay.
We're just
Yeah.
directing them to bring it
Yes.
back later.
And I still would like a better explanation on 13 on the board votes. I'm still confused, and maybe there's a better way of writing it, that 5 people maybe votes to FTE, but it needs to be a little clarified a little more, because somebody's going to look at that and they're going to say everyone voted to maximize the class size and all the rest of this, and that's not what happened.
Yeah, and we've already all asked her to reword that
Yes.
box to make it more clear.
Yeah, and maybe we'll line it up with where it's not looking like it's directly next
Right.
to the class size, because that's not the
Right,
intent, and we
okay.
understand that
Okay.
the board direction is
Okay,
not to
that would be
to
very helpful,
increase class size.
because this document people will see and they'll
Yes.
say, this is what happened, and that isn't what happened.
Okay, could you read back the motion that's desired?
I'm not quite sure. That it would be to not reduce nursing in number 16. In number 14, remove the hourly portion. Is that correct?
Yes,
And recognize the adjustment in number 25.
correct.
Do I hear a motion?
I wanted to clarify what you said, recognize the adjustment.
Different number.
The savings there, changing from a vice principal to a dean of students, actually comes in to be about 21,000 as opposed to the 7,000 there.
Did you change that one?
I didn't change it on this now.
Oh,
That's why I didn't see it.
That's right.
So when you say adjustment, it's not on here?
It's
No,
still
yeah,
at the old
The
number.
updated number is not on here, no. Because what I really wanted to do is show this is what we talked about last time, so I didn't want to be changing numbers in the interim without getting direction on that, so.
So we'll direct him to change the number.
So moved.
Adjustment, so you just recognize the adjustment in number 25, even though it's not there. Okay.
We'll update it, Mickey.
I would like to make the motion with the incorporating the 3 changes that are signified by what Mickey just reported.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Hank, second by Wendy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed, motion carries. And we'll move on to item L15, report on positive behavioral interventions and supports.
I'm sorry, you can't come past there.
Okay, Mickey. Okay, we're going to end the night on something positive. PBIS. Yay. Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, and this is an update for you. I was here back, I think it was in September, when I came and talked about where we were headed with PBIS, and so I'm very happy to be here tonight to give you a report. So in front of you is a PowerPoint of about 10 or so slides that we're going to go through tonight briefly. I'm only planning to talk for 3 or 4 minutes. I'm going to talk really fast, and I have people from the other elementary schools to give a report about what's happening at their school. So I'm going to go through some of these kind of quickly, but what I wanted to point out to you is that on this other white handout, the first page is really not a publicized page that we would normally, a published page that we would give out, but it was developed by our teams at our PBIS trainings, and we used it for ourselves when we went to be the trainers at our for the rest of our staffs. So, but it kind of guides you through as I'm talking, like the critical features. You're going to hear a little bit more about that, and something for you to refer to later on. So we started this school year on August 23rd. We had an overview presentation. Washington and Grant to make sure that they had staff buy-in. Zane had an opportunity at that same day.
the PBIS scheduled training dates that we had set up last year, and I shared with you in a previous PowerPoint, we went ahead and had those. So the first day, September 16th, was a full day of our team trainings, and that was a representative of members from each site, came up with a stakeholder team. We have between 7 and 11 members or 12 members on each elementary site's team. We have teachers, principal must be on it. We have a classified member, we have parents, we have the parent, on it. And so it's really representative of everybody that represents and works at our sites with children. So the first day we had the clear expectations, and that was, you're going to see later on in your handout too, it's a matrix. On September 28th, we went on and we talked about what explicit teaching means, and from there we developed our lesson plans. On October 7th, we had another full day training, which was a system for increasing desired behavior. And so it was talking about positive rewards for kids and how you recognize what you want to see kids doing. On November 1st, which was a very exciting day for us, I have my clicker. He's going to keep up with me because I'm trying to keep this short for you. We had all elementary schools staffs at a staff development day at the Zane cafeteria. We had 149 staff members attended, 94 of them were teachers or certificated members, and 55 were classified. So the classified came on a non-working day to learn about it as well. On the next day, we met again as our teams to learn about systems for decreasing misbehavior. On December 5th, we got together again with our teams and we learned about a data system, a data tracking system, and we're still collecting the data and working on getting that piece of it together. Because if you look back at the grounding concepts on the white sheet, there are 5 critical features, and one is that you have clear expectations. And so I'm going to show you on the matrix, which is the third page in. The Lafayette School, I just gave our example, and that is safe rules and expectations, guidelines for success, and it has the different areas of the campuses that we decided at our school were important. Every school has the all the time area, and that we're teaching the kids what it means to be safe, be respectful, and be responsible. And then at our school we have the different areas like the bathroom, the hallways, the playground, cafeteria, office, etc. So going on with the PowerPoint, on January 5th, we came back together and we had a working day where we were trying to get together our handbook so that every single staff member at our school would have a handbook with all the information in it to refer to. So going through the training and then still having the handbook to refer back to. On the 6th of January, we had our PBIS teams prep in the morning because they became the experts of what PBIS is, and then they trained the rest of our staffs that afternoon. So we had a half-day minimum day with the students that day, and in the afternoon, once again, we had the certificated staff and classified came and were paid to attend that training. Then the big day, our really big day, happened on January 9th. And I have worked in Eureka City Schools my 10th year. I've been in education for over 20. But January 9th was a special day. And it was incredibly exciting to know that on that day, the teachers and the classified members were training their students and what we expect for the student behavior at all the different places on our campus. And on the next slide, we had developed these rotation stations. All 1,792 elementary students learned what it means to be safe, be respectful, and be responsible, all on the very same day. So as we were giving the lessons, I have teachers nodding here, as we were giving the lessons throughout the day, we were also telling the students that all the students in Eureka were hearing these exact same information and learning the same thing. And at our school, we had one of our custodians, Danny, who's on our PBIS team. He was giving the lesson on the bathroom. And at different schools, we had people that were giving lessons in the cafeteria. There were the cafeteria monitors, workers, etc. So then we know that you don't just learn something once and then expect them to keep it. So we came up with a plan. The next one is rotation stations revisited. So just right when we came back from President's Week, we went through it again. Now we modified ours at that time to just 5 of the most critical stations right now, and we'll come back and visit it again. So we're teaching the students, continually repeating them what we expect them to know and be able to do. Then the rest of our implementation, so the first part of the learning about it for us was phase 0 and getting staff buy-in and making sure everybody was trained. And now we're in phase 1A where we're making sure that the students know and we're training the students. And we have on-site coaching with our wonderful consultant, Dale Myers, who was just a gift for us that he came here and is working with us because he's amazing. So we've had a week already that we had some team trainings with him, and we also had him on our sites giving coaching and feedback to our employees and talking with kids. He's offered to be in, and he's going tomorrow at my site into classrooms to look at different students and their behaviors and different structures in the classrooms for teachers who want the feedback. And then also, so there's 2 more weeks that we had pre-scheduled. Now, I do know that we didn't get him started at the beginning of the year at Zane. He had the overview, but with the change of administration, we weren't sure what was happening. And I believe that Dennis and Dale are still in conversation and have come up with some dates. Dale's been there a time or 2 already, and on April 6th, their professional development day will be about PBIS. So that's exciting for us because we'd love to see this K-8. So in my closing right here, before I invite up the other presenters from the other schools, I wanted to thank you, the district office, for the commitment to PBIS in the implementation of, in the participating schools for the minimum of 3 to 5 years, as was presented way back in May. It's important to recognize that the long-term commitment made by the district is vital to critical systems change, and that's what we're so excited about because, as I told you before, working at 4 different schools in our district, it was different at every school I went to, and now it is the same at all the schools, and it is very exciting. So we want to thank you to the school board also, because PBIS is not a one-year wonder program, but a 3 to 5 year commitment to build the culture and respect and responsibility and safety on each one of our campuses. And I think that at this time I would like to invite up Alice Burney and Paulette Myers, Paulette Corbin. Actually, it's a different last name.
It's true now. It's true.
She's going to come up and talk about Alice Burney.
Hello, I am Paulette Corbin True, and I been sitting here and thinking this is where I had 5th grade, in this very room. Hard to get past that, but it was.
Who was your teacher, Paulette?
Mr. Barkdale was my teacher right here in 5th grade, and that was in 1955. And I must say that the culture of the schools have changed dramatically, and I want to thank you personally for to the board and to the cabinet district office for allowing us to have this program PBIS. And I think that I was asked to share who was on our team at Alice Burney School. We have Georgianne Posello-Fullstone, our principal, Mary Myers and Christy Puz were our facilitators. We have Andrea Arenas, Brad Albee, John Moore, Lauren Pitzel, Shelley Smith, Rachel Bass, Patty Eckholt, Teresa Kepner was our parent, and myself. And it was an exciting time, and I feel that the word that I have come out of during this time is hope. And I have been at Alice Burney and Washington School, but Alice Burney for 12 years. And I can see that here is something that we can finally rebuild our foundation at Alice Burney and begin to have something that is across the board unifying our school and our district to have the same rules. I am really excited about it. I'm excited about the fluidity of the program, where we've kind of lost our sound, but we're going from the regular day to the after-school program, and how exciting is that we can use the same vocabulary, and it just works well with the kids. And we just kind of planted the seeds, and now we are seedlings now. We're kind of in a hothouse, and we are ready to go on. We've trained our students at their expectation stations. We've done all kinds of things. We've posted, we have posters that tell us what we need to do, what level of voice we need to use. We've trained our monitors. We've given them bright vests to wear. We've created positive person tickets and have school-wide drawings, classroom drawings. We've met with parents and informed them about our new program. We have challenges, yes, but they are something that we can overcome. We need to make this shift from looking for negative behavior to positive behavior. We need to give out more positive person tickets on a daily basis and increase our school-wide drawings. We need to connect the action to the rule more consistently. And we need to get our data piece and our classroom component in place. And it's essential that we have our data program so that we can tailor it to the needs of our classroom. And I've been talking to the students at Alice Burney and asking them, how do you like this? What do you think? Well, they think it's fair. They think it's easy to follow and remember. And they said, wow, you have told us over and over and over at each station what to do. We are never going to forget it. They told me today. They feel that their classrooms are more positive and that most of the students are really trying to follow the rules. They have definitely had an increased awareness of what it means to be respectful, responsible, and safe. The students are really excited about the program. And my experience has been that when there is a misbehavior, that we can get kind of past the excuses and what's happening and just say, well, was it safe? Was it respectful? There's no more argument. They know. They know exactly what that was. And we can go on, and it can be a great teaching moment. All the emotions taken out. The parents also said that they like this system. They like the corrective and the instructional component. They appreciate that we give reasons for the rules and that it's school and district-wide. The parents were very interested in the behavior tracking system, and we hope that that's going to be very, very helpful to them and to us as faculty and staff. We want you to know that PBIS has given us a new hope and helped to strengthen our foundation at Alice Burney School. Thank you very much.
So next time I'm going to be inviting up Marilyn from Grant School to talk about their experience. But she mentioned something about positive behavior tickets, and we have one for each of you. Help me. This is for being responsible, because you guys are very responsible, and you have to be
How are you?
When's the drawing?
Thank you.
You're right ahead of yourself now, aren't you?
Thank you.
And this one for Mickey. They're for me today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wait, when is the drawing?
Yes. Are we going to get a drawing?
Yeah.
Well, you'll just have to wait and see now.
Okay. We have to save the ticket.
Right. Some people like to save their tickets.
How cute.
Oh, you gave me two.
Here's one.
No, you don't get to.
Here's red ones.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Nilsson at Grant. I'm the member of the team, and our team is Tracy Kern, Pat Person, Kevin Bean, Jamie, Bailey Gass, Beth Foster, Heather Guerra, Sarah Gradick, Johanna Jordan, Pat Grays, Raven Knickerbocker, and myself. And we also want to thank the board. We are so thankful. We feel like it has made such an impact for our schools. Today we had Dr. Dell there for more input, and the team met afterwards. They wanted me to convey how much they think we are making strides. Along with the red paw for a bulldog, because we're a Grant Bulldog, we also have positive postcards we're trying to send out to our parents when the student has made a positive and has received maybe a paw, or the student or the parent has notified them of their positive behavior. So that's been effective. Parents really love it. We tell the child they're getting this, or they get a phone call. So part of our I'm going to talk a little bit because my sister covered everything. So ditto on all that she said. But the kids, when we do the drawings for the prizes, they light up. And some of their favorite prizes have been just simple things like being first in line. And we had one student who and they're supposed to be first in line one time, but we did have one student figure out that she could fold it up in a certain way, and she used it every day for a week until we finally caught on. So it doesn't have to be large prizes. They're very content on just just the fact that we've noticed that it's positive behavior. I've been with the district about 22 years. I've been at every site except Winship and I believe Alice Burney. I've seen numerous discipline systems come through and go away and come through and go away. This is one system that I fully believe in. I've been using it in after school. It makes such a difference. It has such an impact. I've trained the college students from Humboldt that work for me. They love the system. Behavior is simplified. The expectation is right out in front. Be safe, be respectful, be responsible. The kids get that. They know what we expect. It really takes the argument out of the discipline. And the beauty that when we get kids coming from Alice Burney or we get students coming from other, like Lafayette, they know that we have the same system now. They pretty much know what's expected now at each site. And that is such a plus for the parents and the student and the staff. They really support this. I thank you. I hope you continue supporting this. I appreciate your time. I know it's late. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite Terry Silvers, who's the facilitator for the Washington team. And while you're at it, could you fold up your little yellow Lafayette ticket and stick it in my little bag?
That's right.
Wait, while you're doing that, can I tell you a story?
Because it has to do with grant?
Sure.
And I just thought of it when Jen was saying that. I'm teaching in a classroom at Humboldt State Adaptive Physical Education. I'm having a practicum with Special Olympics athletes. The first night, laying down the laws about, well, the whistle, we're going to stop. Why do we do that? You have to be safe. I started a sentence. Be safe. And these three little guys go, and respectful and responsible. And I'm like, whoa, he goes, we got a grant. I'm like, yes. And this was like the first week of February, so that was how important the impact was. If I was there when they rolled it out on the 9th, so that's a month. And they, be safe, be respectful and responsible. And I was like, yeah. But that wasn't where I was going with that conversation, but all I got was the word safe out, and they knew the others. And I was like, it was so cool. Good job. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know.
It's very true. I also wanted to thank you guys for allowing us to have the PBIS system. I think as a framework in our school, it's united our team. It's brought together the classified and certified. I think it's really empowered our classified staff and made them feel as an equal to know that we're teaching this together. You teach it, I teach it, we're all going to teach it. We all believe in the same rules. We're giving the same, ours are called WOW ticket, the Washington Otter Way. We're giving our WOW tickets. We're each trying to hand out 10. We're transitioning to making that into the classroom. And I feel like as a district, our kids have changed. I've been in the district for 17 years. I've been at Washington for all 17. And the clientele has changed, and we have to make sure the kids know what the expectations are. And not only will that help them socially, but academically. When the classroom's running smoothly and the kids know what the expectations are and what the rules are, the level of achievement can really surprise all of us. And I'm starting to see that just in my classroom, moving this year to 2nd grade, saying in the classroom, okay, right now, are you being responsible? No, I've got to be responsible. I think it's really important for them to do that. So for our team, it's with Kathy Cloney Gardner, who is our principal. Our parent is Marcel. Our monitor is on our team is Vicki, and she's done a great job trying to train the new monitors, even the substitutes, having WOW tickets for them to work with the cafeteria personnel and really get them trained. We also have Roseanne Buckner, Marty Chain, who is our resource teacher, Mary Pigeon, Patty Fuentes, Jerry Cartwright. I think I got everybody. Oh, and Kim Rhodes Brooks, who's our after-school coordinator and helps coordinate the system throughout the school. Right now, we are going to do our reteaching tomorrow on 4 of our stations. We're also working on doing a rules school. We've had a few children that continually have kind of run in the hallway, which that's okay. We expect that to happen. And so we're going to do some practicing, which I think is the great thing, like, it's not the punishment. It's we just need to practice this rule. Okay, we've had a trouble. That's not being safe. Now we're going to practice being safe. We might have to keep practicing being safe, but this is what we're going to practice and bringing it back to them. And we're also going to be transitioning it into our classrooms. The teachers have come up with a buddy system, and we have a working format that we're going to start using second through sixth, and the K1's going to be modified so that the kids can come into the classroom if they're doing something that's not safe, respectful, or responsible in their classroom. They can go into their peer classroom, fill out the form, and just when the teacher has time to hit them, go over, so what were you doing? What are we going to change? What is it going to look like? What's the rules? And kind of review with them, and then they'll take that back to their teacher. Hopefully eliminating some of the time lost in the classroom, heading to the office to get other things done, so that they're in their seat and getting that educational time in. After we're done with that, we're going to continue on with next year, which what I think all of us are really excited about, to start doing check-in, check-out systems and some Tier 2 interventions for our kids, and really hitting that next group of kids that need that extra support. And with our data system, once we have that in place, we can kind of pinpoint who those kids are, what they need, and how we can help them. And then after that's done, to move on to that third tier, the kids that really need that intensive intervention, that we can work on their behavior plans and really help support all of these students. And I feel like this is the first step for us to become a team as a district again. We've kind of had some uneasy times, and I really think as a whole, seeing it move to Zane, I think that we really need to move to that positive front for our schools and for the community and for the kids, for them to have the best learning environment. So thank you again for having this.
Invite up Katrina Scheffler, who's our facilitator at Lafayette School.
Not only am I the team facilitator at Lafayette, I'm also the student service guidance tech and the ACES coordinator. So I see a lot of students every day, all day long. And I want to let you know that on our team, we have Jan Schmidt. We also have Autumn Jernigan, who is a first grade teacher, Scott Campbell, who is a fourth grade teacher, Brian Letts, special day, Betsy Quayle, kindergarten, Danny Davis is a custodian, and Nanette Dean is parent. We also had a monitor who sadly took a different position, better paying job, outside the district. So she left our team, but darn. What I want to tell you, I mean, beyond what everyone else is saying, which is amazing, you guys saved the best for last tonight, because PBIS is so exciting. Every time I even say PBIS, I get excited. It is so amazing in our schools, and the way it goes right into the after-school program also. First of all, the paperwork that you see that Jan passed out, that has the matrix on it, that has lesson plans, that wasn't just the team that came up with that. We all got together, the 4 schools, the teams, we talked and we talked and we went over what we thought was most important, and then all that information was disseminated to our staffs. And what they then did was came together and they added their own pieces to it, what they felt was important in each place of the school, what the matrix should look like, and we have revised and revised and revised, and there's complete consensus in our school as to what everything should look like, so that one teacher isn't going, well, that's not really my thing, so I'm going to teach it a little different. It is 100% buy-in, and that is what is so amazing with this, is the teachers are using the same language, that the custodians, that the monitors, everyone is using the same language, including an after-school program. And I've never seen this before. And because of our stability, it's really helping our students. And the most amazing thing is how the kids are internalizing these 3 words. And what I want to tell you, they love the tickets, they do. But I don't feel that's the most important, even though I saw all of your faces light up and you get excited the moment those tickets were passed out. When we look for the positive all the time instead of the negative, our kids are so excited, and that's what they're giving us. They are giving us their positive. Now, that takes some time to change that in our culture. And I know myself, I've had to stop myself from going for those negative behaviors and just and go, great job over here. And all of a sudden, those negative behaviors, they change to the positive without me saying one word to them. It is truly amazing. So at our school, we've hung up posters for the teachers. Anyone can make comments anytime they want about anything, and we've let everybody know that this is a process. It's a changing process as our school goes along. I gave a monitor, we call them our PBTs. positive behavior tickets. A monitor, I saw her out there and kids were having trouble jump roping with the long jump rope, using it inappropriate. She took the time to teach the kids how to jump rope appropriately, safely, respectfully. And I went up and I gave her a ticket and she just lit up and I said, "Thank you for being so responsible in your position as a monitor." That was just an amazing feeling for me to be able to do that for an adult. Also, I've asked kids, I had some kids just on Monday who were sitting outside their class, didn't want to go inside, copping big behavior problem. I walked up to them and I asked them, I said, "What should you be doing right now?" I thought they were going to say, "Be in my classroom," or whatever. One kid goes, "Be safe, be respectful, be responsible." And I went, okay. And so I took it right from there. So if you were being responsible, they're like, we should be in our classroom. And if you were being respectful, we should be listening to our teacher. And when I also asked them about their own learning, they said it would be responsible for them to be in the classroom. And I said, "And are you being safe right now outside?" And they said, "No." I said, "So what should you do?" They got up and they went into their classroom. These were second graders. I also, right after we did the training, they didn't see me. I came around the corner to our bathrooms. A kindergarten girl had just come out of the girls' bathroom, and 2 older boys had come out of the boys' bathroom. She stopped them, and she said, "Did you wash your hands in there?" And then she says, which I'm just trying to hold this laughter in, she said, "You boys are going to walk in the hallway now, right, because it's safe." The kids are teaching each other. This isn't something we're just seeing once in a while. This is happening all the time on our campuses now. I could just tell you so many stories, but it is so exciting to watch the kids. Yes, we still have behavior issues. We do. But when we're looking for the positive, the kids are giving us the positive, and that is what is so amazing about this. I also want to let you know that we're not slacking on this training. Everybody is doing this every day. We're telling ourselves this all the time. Not only that, I know that you heard from Paulette and Marilyn, because we all work in the after-school programs too. So we're teaching at our own sites, and also the City of Eureka had an all-staff recreation meeting on February 23rd, and they invited me to also present PBIS in depth to their, and what they got, each of them got one of those packets that you have in front of you, and I trained 26 elementary recreation leaders. So everybody is truly using the same language, and they were very excited also at this change in the way that we are looking at student behavior. But the whole idea is that we need to be teaching the kids what we want to see from them. And we're doing that, and they are responding in such a positive way. So thank you so much for bringing this to our district. I have to thank Jan for just really working on this and pushing this through for all of us. Never seen anything like it. And if you have the opportunity to come to our sites at one of these trainings, it truly is just the most worthwhile thing that we can be doing for the stability of our students and our schools right now. So thank you so much for this, and please just continue, because this is only going to lead us in a better direction. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for the applause, but really the next person I'm going to invite up is who I want to give applause to. I'd like at this time to reintroduce to you Dale Myers. I'd like him to come up here for just a second. Come on up, Dale. In case you haven't had a chance to meet him, this is Dale Myers, our consultant, and he's been providing incredible direction for us. But I also wanted to have you have an opportunity if you wanted to say anything or if you have questions for Dale.
Well, I would just like to say thank you for the opportunity to work in your district. I have to tell you, if I could afford it, I'd work here for free. I'm serious. These guys do proud the work that we do every day. And as I get an opportunity to work with you, I couldn't be more proud to be an educator. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions you have, I'd be glad to field.
I have a grandson in this program, and he's constantly reminding me of the three. But I'm thrilled to see this voice levels page. I'm going to use that with him. Right, Mrs. Silvers? He's a very good kid, but he's a wonderful child. But If he's going to remind me, I'm going to remind him of a few things, too.
That's good. That's good. You know, there's a couple things. I'd like to thank Susan. You stopped by at one of the trainings. Any of you are always welcome at the consultation and training sessions that we do. I'd encourage you to stop by. And next year, as the schools have this fully implemented, in order to work across environments for kids, we'll be doing in the evening some family nights, PBIs for families, so that they can use some of the same language, same strategies that we use in the schools, and hopefully make things easier for families that we work with every day.
I'm really thrilled to see that you're going to continue it Zane. Now, I do know that Dennis has introduced a very good program at Zane that they are using, and I have a granddaughter there. And it has made she has commented on the differences it has made as a 7th grader. So this will be nice because his is very similar to this. I'm very, very pleased that I'd like to see it even go into the high school, and it may not even have to go that way. I mean, as the children grow and get older, go through Zane, they may not need it in high school because they will be safe, responsible, and respectful.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's that time. It's drawing time. Me. So I thought I would ask a person who I'm always kind of like I'm like this and like that, and I thought I'd ask the camera guy to draw the picture. Okay, and the positive behavior ticket winner tonight is Leanne Lanning. Now you get your choice of handball with Danny or the special dart. The kids who are prizes that don't have any value, and we don't give away candy. But to the kids. But you guys are all going to get a piece of candy that Georgiana was supposed to open for me.
Joint.
So end the night with you each having a little piece of something.
Thank you very much.
That was it. Do you have any questions?
Here's your pen.
Thank you.
You got it.
You do.
Not no, she can't.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just wanted to make a comment. The reason we started this handball with Danny, who is our custodian, is very popular, and we were looking for a way to keep all costs down for this. So we don't want to have to buy prizes all the time. So we started looking at what did the kids want? Front of the line passes, extra recess time, special balls from the ballroom, and so a lot of times we've got these little prizes that the Coast Guard donated to us, but these tickets are incredibly popular with the kids, and we laminated them so they can be used and brought back and used again. And so we're looking at the things that the kids really want in our school, and it's free.
Nice.
That's good.
So thank you very much for your attention, and I tried to keep it short, but we didn't keep it too short.
Great. Thanks. So is there a need to go back into closed session?
Well, there is a need, and I'm not exactly sure how to bring it in, that the March 14th meeting was supposed to be discussed under the fiscal stability plan, that we haven't actually talked about whether that works.
John, you can just call it.
So John can call it?
The board president can call it.
Okay, so just to, then we'll respectfully request John to call it at some point so that we can have that special board meeting on the 14th.
Okay, can I call it right now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm calling.
Okay.
14, 5 p.m.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Great. With that, we are adjourned.